I don't think you really know the full impact of your work, but suicide is a very complex issue. Everybody's different. Every situation is different. A lot of the training programs focus on the intervention aspects. The prevention is really a personal journey. And if you can work on those things really, then you're doing the work before the intervention is required. At the beginning of the 2000s, Suicide Prevention Australia was a fledgling organisation, and we were looking for how we can make the most impact.
I think one of the most powerful things that we can do in this space is bring people together.
When I get together with my colleagues, contemporaries, peers, new people at the LiFE Awards, it gives me an opportunity to actually relax into the suicide prevention community.
I think we need to say, we see what you're doing, we value what you're doing, and we'd like to acknowledge that.
We have to celebrate achievement and the achievement of all of the amazing people who work in this sector and in this space.
As I say, we don't do it for the awards, but I don't think Martin, Victor and all the sponsors that have been, the ones that are with us today, would ever truly appreciate just how important these awards are to the people that receive them.
So to see people approaching this with innovation and doing it their own way and engaging with their own people and improving the lives of others around them, that's the coolest thing I think about engaging with people and bringing everyone together at the awards.
That's the opportunity in that room with all of those people, is for them to look at each other and congratulate each other on the lives that have been saved and on the positive and vital impact that they've had on the people that they've sought to support and reach out to.
I started off as a counsellor for Lifeline, and after I'd been there for a few years, about 4 years, somebody invited me onto the board. And I went on a journey then through from Lifeline Tasmania or Lifeline Hobart to Lifeline Tasmania, Lifeline Australia and then Lifeline International.
When I started in the suicide prevention sector nearly 20 years ago with the Department of Health, Tasmania didn't have a tailored suicide prevention strategy. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to make that happen. And fast forward to 2010, not quite a year later, but a little bit over 2 years later, we did have the first suicide prevention strategy.
So we were the first jurisdiction to adopt a charter and to seek people really engaging with that and even signing up to the charter and committing to how they would actually talk and communicate about suicide and suicide prevention.
I've had some experience in my family with mental health and suicide, and I started by sharing my story and really quickly learned that there are so many stories out there. And that's taught me the importance of creating a space where people feel comfortable to share their stories.
And of course, all those years ago, suicide was a real stigma.
I think that people are still very, very nervous about talking about suicide. They see it as a risky conversation to have. And I think that contributes to the stigma, the shame, and the avoidance of talking about suicide.
We see a lot of power in that storytelling perspective, and that's what people remember.
I think the most critical step that anyone can take, whether it's community, whether or not we're talking about our health system, is to engage in that process. Learn from the people living in that space, learn from the people suffering in that space.
And now I think we're able to talk about it quite openly, and there are lots of good programs doing great work on the ground.
I hope mental health education increases. I hope that people are able to access long-term support in a better way than they can at the moment.
There's lots of very strong evidence for the effectiveness of safety planning in the prevention of suicide. So I'd like to see more of that. Continue to report, continue to link data to understand what is driving suicide prevention in this state specifically.
There's never going to be GP or medical training or expertise to solve this issue. There's never going to be medication to solve this issue. It's got to be an integrated approach, but I think community is at the heart of that.
It's a hard area to work with. It's a hard area, and it's emotionally draining at times for people, to support the workers, to continue education for the workers, to share experiences, and just to know that they're not on their own.
When people gather together and they're like-minded, There's almost a camaraderie involved. You know, that's kind of an acknowledgement of this is worth it. I'm glad we did this. And it tends to roll into the next year as well, where they say, you know, that was great, and people did care. But the excitement, the kind of positivity in the room is palpable.